So this video is going to be me dispelling common fitness myths, because everyone and their nan at the minute is out doing their 1 hour or once a day exercise because we're all in lockdown, we're all bored off our tits, there's nothing to do, and people are like, why don't I take up a new hobby, or why don't I better myself? So a lot of people are doing, different things like jogging and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of joggers. So I think there's probably a massive searches of like how to get fit, fitness for beginners, stuff like that. So I thought I'll dispel some of the common myths that I found on the old Steve Jobs device, because at the end of the day there's usually an ulterior motive. People think because a guy's jacked or whatever, what he says is true, but half the time it's like, you can do exactly what I did if you buy my shitty supplement which I took before bed which made me lean. So it's like, I'm going to dispel some of the common myths. First one, I've been asked this like 50 times and you see it all the time. Does it matter if I eat late at night? No, that's not what's making you fat, because all that matters is that you're in a deficit if you want to lose weight and a surplus if you want to gain weight. What amazes me is that people eat a terrible diet all day of just cake and crap, and then they eat like a bag of crisps at 12 at night and say, I think what's making me fat is the fact I'm eating late at night. The studies suggest that people that eat late at night generally make worse choices, because obviously if you have a structured day where you know at 5 PM every day you're going to be eating your dinner, then you'll plan what you're going to eat. So there is probably some correlation between those people that are eating late at night, but that is not the reason. All that matters is calories. Second one, can you target fat loss? No, you can't. This gets asked all the time. Can you target fat loss? No. Reason being, there's fat cells all over your body. You can't do it. You have to lose weight overall. That's all that matters. For instance, this is the reason why you get bodybuilders who have areas that aren't quite as lean, because that's genetical. You just lose weight, you get down to a certain percent body fat that you're happy with. You can't just say, I want to lose weight off my abs or off my thighs or whatever. The only people that actually say that's true are people that sell things like waist trainers and say that you can, because it's total bullshit. More is not always better. Right, this is a big one, because there's always those sayings, no pain, no gain, all this. So people always think, I've got to do more, I've got to do more. It'll make me leaner, bigger. When I started, I did 3 days a week. And that was on advice of my dad, who had been training for like 30 years. He said, you don't need to go a lot, 3 or 4 days a week would be good. And I upped it as I got more advanced. But I see people on forums who say, I've just started training, I've just started doing this or that, and I'm doing 7 days a week. This one is a bit more, I'm relating this one a bit more to lifting in particular, but people say, I've just started lifting 2 months ago, I'm doing 7 days a week and lifting heavy every time and doing 3-hour sessions. And it's like, why? This is a new stimulus. You don't need to do that much. Do 3 or 4 days a week and try and hit the muscles twice. That's all you need to do. Cardio is the main component of losing weight. This is one of the biggest myths, because you see on the TV all the time, people are like, this guy is fat because he doesn't move, he doesn't do anything, and all this. That's not what made him fat. What made him fat was eating. So the way to lose the fat is not eat so much. It's simple. A caloric deficit will always make you lose weight. Cardio, when it is particularly useful, is for cardiovascular health. I always recommend it to people, obviously, because you want to stay in shape. You don't just want to look good, you want to actually be healthy. Keep your blood pressure low, stuff like that. So obviously cardiovascular fitness is important, but the main component to losing weight is just being on a diet, being in a caloric deficit. It can be done with no cardio. Another one you always see, especially from females, is like, I don't want to lift because I'm going to get too big, so I'll just stick to cardio all the time. Well, people underestimate how hard it is to actually gain muscle. It's not easy. Like, if you're a natural and you gained a few pounds in a year of actual muscle and not just like 90% fat, then you are lucky. Unless you're a beginner, obviously, but people always underestimate that. You will not get massively manly, and not only that, but being more muscular burns more calories. Your daily expenditure will be higher, and your maintenance will be higher. So having some muscle isn't a bad thing. Definitely annoys me the most. Saw it on Instagram the other day. There was a poll saying, does fasted training or cardio burn more fat? And like 90% of people said yes. The thing is, this is the one that beginners, I would say, are the sucker for. I see it all over social media all the time. People on their story, just been for my fasted run, just been for my fasted walk, or done my fasted training or whatever. And it's like, even if you look at studies, initially they'll say something, that's promising. They'll say there might be more fat loss during that period, but you look at the studies where there's 500 people in a case study or whatever, there's 2 different groups, one's fasted, one's not fasted, maybe one has 250 calories before their workout. There's never any difference overall, because that 1 hour that you're fasted is nothing in the grand scheme of things, because the only way you lose weight is over time. If you're in a massive deficit for one day, it won't do much. You need to be in a deficit constantly for like a week. So that 1 hour of fasted actually does fuck all. Don't know why I have to explain this one, but clearly I do, because it gets asked all the time, which is people think that supplements, you know, protein, etc., do something regardless of your diet or your training. So I actually get people who don't even train who say like, my brother's got protein powder, so I've just started taking it. And it's like, it's a supplement. That's what it does. It supplements your diet. So if you need 200 grams of protein, you might eat 170 from your diet, then you might eat 30 from the shake. And the 30 is no different to what's in your diet. You know, it's got no magic ingredient. That's what it does. It supplements your diet. They do nothing unless everything else is on point. Right, this is kind of two, but you hear this loads, and I'm sure most people have heard this, and I've had people say this to me, and it just pisses me off, because people downplay the amount of effort it takes to actually gain mass or lose weight or whatever. And you get big guys who are just fat, and they say, look at the size of me, I'd be so big if I went to the gym. And it's like, well, you wouldn't be, because it's fat. You need to build muscle and then lose the fat, and then your physique will show. It doesn't turn to fat. The same way people say, like, that guy's on steroids. When he comes off the steroids, it's all going to turn to fat. He might lose some mass, he might lose some muscle, but it doesn't turn to fat. That's not what happens. That is, you know, scientifically, that doesn't happen. So, no. This one, I'm guilty of. Everyone's guilty of this, which is assuming that the amount you ache, or if you ache, is a good indicator that you've had a good workout or whatever. Which totally isn't true, because aching excessively can actually be a sign that you're undertrained. For example, say I had all this period in lockdown, I hadn't done any training, and the gym suddenly opened tomorrow, I'd go in there and I could do probably a third of what I usually do, and I'd ache a lot, because I'm not used to it. But when I was actually training, back a month ago, I was training a lot. I could do high volume days where I'd do 15 sets of squat, and some days, the next day, my legs don't really hurt. It doesn't mean I've not had a good workout. It's not a great indicator. I mean, don't get me wrong, so it's a great feeling when you do a hard workout and you ache, because you think, that's a different stimulus to what I'm used to, and I hurt, but in reality, it's not an amazing indicator. So that is just a few, you know, there's loads, it's a constantly evolving game, there's always people thinking they found the next big thing, and all these different types of things pop up all the time, but the one takeaway point should be, always do your own research, you know, look at multiple sources and be like, is this true? Ask different people, go on the internet, look up tons of different sources, make up your own mind, because the way these myths actually circulate is that it's regurgitation. You ask someone, hey bro, how did you get such a small waist? And he goes, yeah, you know, I use this waist trainer, that is the way. And it's like, okay, it might work for you, or maybe it didn't work for you and you just got good genetics, but then you tell everyone it's this waist trainer that actually does nothing. So that is the way most of these myths are created. Anyway, like and subscribe, because obviously I do put a marginal amount of effort into each video. No, I'm joking, I put a bit of effort in, so like and subscribe. And if you want to see a topic, just let me know, because obviously, like I said, we're all in lockdown, we've got nothing else to do, and I'll be doing a video a week anyway, so if it can help multiple people, and it's a good topic, and I'll do it, so cheers.